Matilda Bawden, she's got lots to say about smart cities. She's been on the front lines of it at Salisbury, so let's hear what she's got to say.
Thank you, everyone. Okay, now, there's an awful lot I'd like to say about Salisbury, but I better bite my tongue. Now, today I had an absolutely fascinating conversation with a barrister from New South Wales who is keen to take up litigation here and take on councils, not just Salisbury Council. He wants to start with Salisbury Council. And unfortunately, I can't say too much right this minute, but hopefully by next week, it'll be common knowledge. So anyway, trust me, I have hit the mother lode of barristers and a legal team, even here in Adelaide, that is willing to do it. Because they've had a gutful of the corruption in the state, including local government association. So, Now, just on a slight little footnote, of course, we have to fund that, but he will actually help me set up a bank account and help us fundraise. So anybody who might be interested in, $10 here, $5 there, sell cookies, whatever, we've got to break the back of this stuff. And the lawsuit that we're planning will break the back of this. I'm going to whiz through this, and I promise 20 minutes absolute max. I thought you'd like that. Now, for those of you who don't know, City of Adelaide is listed as one of the top 7 smart cities in the world, and that was actually from a couple of years back. So weren't we sleeping when we didn't know about that? Now, thank you to Enka for her amazing research. I also didn't know that City of Salisbury, our Deputy Mayor Chad Buchanan, declared a climate change emergency in City of Salisbury in October 2019, 3 years, as we saw, 3 years before the state government did. Now, I don't know about you guys, but in 2019, I didn't even know what the World Economic Forum was. I'd never heard of smart cities, not really. I mean, I knew a lot about Agenda 21, but, again, it was just one of those things that was conspiracy theory. Okay, so smart cities is not a conspiracy theory, it's a business model. Now, what I think Mike's presentation touched on, and certainly Enka's, is how the banking cartels will be involved in cashing in on us. We are the commodity. They don't collect data for no reason. They don't want to know what blood type group you are, or how fast is your heartbeat, or what you actually, sorry, I apologise. They don't collect this stuff for no reason at all. It's going to be monetised. It's going to be worth something, okay? It's business. It is a business model. And if people don't think that this is for real, they'd better wake up fast, because every one of us is a product on the shelf waiting to be sold and traded, and all of our data. So it's a template for the public-private partnership under a stakeholder capitalism model of government in which only you, the private individual, are not a stakeholder. That's why they don't consult with you. That's why they didn't consult with you about smart cities rollout, whether it's in Salisbury or Unley or Adelaide or anywhere else for that matter. You're not important, okay? Not one of us in this room is remotely important to the council. Rather, you are a commodity to be bought, sold and traded, and this is how the corporations will make their money. This is under the, and they declare it, this is again not a conspiracy theory, go and check it on the World Economic Forum website. Public-private partnership, that's it. That's where they make their gazillions. And of course, they've got a big, big black hole that they've got to fill in. So, the Local Government Association is all in on the World Economic Forum and United Nations agendas of smart cities and climate change emergencies. And if you don't believe me, go to the LGA website, which is saturated with references to the World Economic Forum UN. You can be sure that the Local Government Association is a political lobby group which our council rates fund to grow local government across the state, while they sell us out by stealth to the globalist banking oligarchs and stakeholder capitalists under their public-private partnership. The smart cities business model can only work if the Internet of Things, digital ID, including facial recognition and biometric data, climate change lockdowns, which includes net zero, central banking digital currency, CBDC, zero trust and social credit scores work in concert to regulate everything you do. No one concept will work in isolation, it will all work hand in glove, tracking, surveilling and reporting the movements, habits and behaviours of all people, everywhere, all the time. no exceptions. Under smart cities, official corruption and property seizures will be inevitable. Council rates will never come down. That's not the plan ever. Now, the City of Salisbury boasts to be one of the 3 lowest council rates comparatively to all the other areas in the state. And they have no intention of reducing or even freezing our rates anytime soon. And in fact, if you look at their business plans, it's just going to keep going up and up and up and up. Now, the interesting thing is that City of Salisbury also boasts about how wonderfully affordable they are, except if you're a pensioner. Try and find a rental property anywhere in the City of Salisbury that is acceptable, I think, or habitable. Good luck. And I know this because I'm always looking for housing for people with disabilities, okay? And unless the NDIA is funding it, to the tune of hundreds of thousands of dollars, it doesn't happen easily. Now, governments and corporations cannot make money or grow their empires if you have the lawful right to be a free individual, because there is no power in yes. Now, I want to play the video. Now, this video is just a short one. Dan Bongino talks a lot about there is no power in yes. I don't know if anybody has listened to this or understands what it means, and it was an absolutely jaw-dropping thing to discover. And what he talks about is, how come governments just keep growing and growing and growing, and you can never sort of rein them in, and governments never reduce in size? And that's right. But that's because there's no power in yes. If the government says you're a free agent, you can live without the rules and regulations and the laws that we've currently got. If we peel back all of the regulations that we've got governing us, well, as a government head, a minister, a premier, prime minister, whatever it is, I have no power over you. But when you have to pay me to be free, I control you, okay? So if you wouldn't mind playing that clip, please.
So why does the left keep moving the
Turn it up,
COVID goalposts? Well, it's right here.
Is it a matter now of when, not if, the definition of fully vaccinated changes?
My own personal opinion, Kate, is what you said is correct. It's going to be a matter of when, not if.
We told you. Did I tell you the goalposts were going to move or not? Of course they were going to move. May surprise some of you, but it has very little to do, all this goalpost moving, with the vaccine or science. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with something I heard once from a local politician in Maryland when I was running for office there. I asked him, his name was Chuck. I said, listen, what's the deal with government constantly getting bigger? I was just making small talk, actually. I said, government getting bigger and bigger and the bureaucracy continuing to grow. I go, you think people want to be free, right? And Chuck said something I'll never forget. He said, Dan, government gets bigger and bigger and bigger because there's no power in yes. What do you mean by that? What he meant was that government officials derive their power from the ability to tell you and their constituents no. And then making their constituents, you, lobby them and kiss their collective butts to get to yes. Now that's power. So what does that have to do with the COVID goalposts constantly moving? Well, once you've met the metric they've laid out for you, it doesn't matter what is vax, double vax, triple vax, quadruple vax, double mask, it doesn't matter. Once you've met that metric and done what they've told you to do, then they have no more power over you. Think about it. They gave an order, you said yes. But they crave power more than anything. They love it. Being able to tell you what to do, to get a vaccine, to put a mask on, that's what they love. It's power. Those are the approved narratives in the country with the left right now. Get a vaccine and put a mask on and shut your mouth. Speak of nothing else. So what happens? The goalposts move again and again and again so they can issue more mandates, feeding their power obsession like Popeye needs spinach, except their spinach is power. Here's the latest example of the goalposts moving right here. Pfizer CEO now says a fourth COVID vaccine dose may be needed sooner rather than expected due to Omicron. Folks, I'm just here to warn you and sound the alarm. Listen to me. This is never going to stop. Folks, you see what's happening here right in front of your eyes? They're eroding your freedoms, one small creeping step at a time. Listen to Dr. Jordan Peterson back in 2016, explaining exactly how this slow creep dissolving away your freedoms works.
things get to terrible places one tiny step at a time. You know, if I encroach on you and I'm sophisticated about it, I'm going to encroach 2 millimeters. I'm going to encroach right to the point where you start to protest. Then I'm going to stop. Then I'm going to wait. Then you're going to calm down. Then I'm going to encroach again right to the point where you protest. Then I'm going to stop. Then I'm going to wait. And I'm just going to do that forever. And before you know it, you're going to be back 3 miles from where you started, and you'll have done it one step at a time. And then you'll go, oh, how'd I get here? And the answer was, well, I pushed you a little farther than you should have gone, and you agreed. And so then I pushed you a little farther than you should have gone again, and you agreed.
So you get the idea, by creep. Okay, so the next slide, please. Okay, so data collection, storage and trade. This collection of your personal and private data will be monetised by the private sector and then weaponised by governments, federal, state and local, to ensure your full compliance. Now, if we haven't already had a taste of that over the last 3 years. Now, what it also means is that ultimately, this is going to be the destruction of democracy. The key feature of smart cities is not convenience, safety and efficiency, which is, of course, how they're selling it to us. It's actually nepotism, graft and corruption. Your most personal affairs, thoughts and actions will become public information as a fee for service. Imagine your competitor can access your patents, blueprints, legal documents, financial records and other trade secrets, and then enlist the local councillor to cause you mischief to give your competitor an advantage. Now, all of that will be covered under confidential minutes and agenda items by your council. Now, I don't know if people have noticed how many things councils now are putting under confidential business. And quite frankly, I don't know that there is ever an excuse. My view would be there would never be an excuse for anything to be that confidential that it cannot be discussed or raised. But there you go. Now, property seizures will be an important outcome and objective towards net zero, and with the aid of the International Council for Local Environmental Initiatives, ICLEI, councils will be leading the way as rates soar and become unaffordable. For example, City of Salisbury pays an awful lot of lip service to affordability, claiming to be among the 3 lowest rates in the state, but try and find an affordable home in Salisbury for a pensioner. I think the pension these days is close on $1,000 a fortnight. Rent, certainly in my area, and the cheapest you will find will be $400 a week, if you're lucky, okay? Now, incidentally, just on that point, I found out also, actually no, I'll tell you that in a minute. How will they seize our assets, and that's home and land in particular? Remember, the World Economic Forum promises you will own nothing. Destruction of home and property ownership is a key feature of the Great Reset. In December 2023, there were some 9 homes in SA listed for seizure by councils through the Local Government Association lawyers Keller D. Jones, and by public auctions through Ray White due to hardship, without proper access to courts. Now, these people didn't have lawyers, they weren't lawyered up. Almost none of the homeowners contacted by our freedom advocates knew this was happening to them. At least 6 were given a reprieve, however 2 others were unable to be contacted and are likely fighting their own lone battles. Now, if people hear, now from what we understand, some of this stuff is all being done maybe ex parte, maybe in chambers, I don't know, behind closed doors. Not everybody is actually aware that their homes are up for auction, okay? And this is what they're going to start doing. Go for it. That's true. That's true. They're all electronic. Are gone. Well, there you go. Digitised. Yeah, that's right, digitised, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. Now, I was told by the barrister today that I spoke with that South Australia has, good on them, over 30,000 residents here in South Australia who haven't paid their rates. Now, imagine if 30,000 more didn't pay their rates. Anyway, on that note, now councils are bypassing subsidiary laws as well. Through legal firms and other private companies and a few secret handshakes, I dare say. I'm speculating here, of course, this isn't fact. However, I'm the ultimate conspiracy theorist. They can do whatever they want to you and your property with impunity and no transparency or accountability. Now, imagine you're, I don't know, a 60-year-old pensioner, your kids have moved out of home and you're living in the house that was handed down to you through your mother or father. You no longer can afford council rates because you're not working and there is no family. You're pretty much on your own. Do you reckon you're going to find $50,000, $60,000 spare to fight the council through the courts? If you can even get into a courtroom. Anyway, so the councils are on a pretty good wicket, aren't they? Hey, they can pick off all of the most vulnerable people in our community and then work on us. Private property rights are dead. Now, if people haven't actually watched this, and I haven't queued it for tonight, but I would suggest you look it up. It's the MCJ, Morgan C. Jonas report. In Maribyrnong Council, Melbourne-based Maribyrnong, I can't even pronounce that one, City Council has unleashed an unprecedented assault on homeowners, resulting in the reduction of some local property values of up to hundreds of thousands of dollars by relisting the houses as heritage listed. Okay? Now, even if they don't, let's say you've got a home, even if your home is, let's say, I don't know, 1960s, so it's not going to be, I don't know, relisted as heritage, they can always put it as a rezone, put it under a different zone, whether it's, you know, commercial or farming or some other thing. So one way or another, they'll get you eventually. Rezoning and reclassification. Homes and land will be rezoned and reclassified, e.g. via heritage listing. This will again make property less affordable and force many to sell up or face financial ruin. Of course, councils will deny that they will be participating in anything like the Great Reset, but don't believe this because it's all lies. And I think I've heard enough lies from the City of Salisbury to last me quite a while. With the aid of the Local Government Association, councils will lie and deceive with impunity. Now, they get away with this. You can't hold them accountable. It's impossible. Councillors who try to pull back the curtains to let in the light face the template communist approach. Now, incidentally, can I recommend you watch two videos on YouTube if you have not already done so. One is called The Soviet Story, and it talks about how closely aligned the fascist ideology and, you know, Hitler's Germany was to Stalin's communist Russia, and how near identical they were. And in fact, talking about erasing history, historians have gone over Stalin's reign in Russia and wiped out all references to the close alliance and association they had with Hitler's Germany and the Nazis, okay? Anyway, so one is one was called the Soviet Story, and the other one, yes, Harvest of Despair, the 1933 Ukrainian Holodomor famine. And those two documentaries are absolutely mind-blowing. And once you start watching that, then you'll see the template. They're doing it now, cookie cutter. Everything that happened back then is happening now. Almost lockstep. Okay, so councillors who try to pull back the curtains to let in the light will face the template communist approach. They will face the Local Government Association Star Chamber, but you won't be informed it's happening because it will be done to them behind closed doors without legal representation and out of the public eye until they are subjected to public humiliation. So guarantee that that will be happening. Now, I understand that there's quite a few councillors, not just in Salisbury, but elsewhere, that are, you know, being put under an awful lot of pressure. The LGA legal firm, Norman Waterhouse, now, it boasts close ties to Chinese investments in SA. I've sent you a link up there. Sean Keenahan is one of the key people at the top of the food chain in Norman Waterhouse. Look at his resume, okay? Now, you tell me that sort of, and I'm not accusing anybody here of being corrupt or doing anything of this the type, but what I'm saying is, the potential for nepotism and corruption under smart cities will be inevitable. Inevitable, okay? Now, the legal firms that are seizing people's property for not paying rates will probably also be the same legal firms that will be bringing in Chinese investors or any other investors, and a little bit here and a little bit there and a slice of that pie here and a slice of that pie there. Tell me that won't happen. Okay, next one, please. Anyway, I'm just showing this, not that you can read it. Back in November during the local government elections, I posted something on Facebook suggesting that Salisbury had already signed up for net zero, and I got an email admonishing me from one of the governance managers in the city of Salisbury, basically telling me, or making sure that I understood that it's a criminal offence and I could be charged and blah-de-blah-de-blah for posting misleading or, disinformation, whatever. The post that I put up, basically, I thought it was pretty innocuous, but hey, it pissed somebody off. Next one, sorry. Okay, look, my post basically says, City of Salisbury has signed on to net zero emissions and only electric cars by 2035. Hope you're happy walking to work. I didn't think it was actually earth-shattering, but I got an email to tell me off. Next one, please. And anyway, so then, now bear in mind, climate emergency was declared in 2019 in the city of Salisbury, okay? Now how they thought, how this governance manager, I don't know how you could be a governance manager and not connect the dots that net zero and climate change emergency are one and the same thing. You can't separate them, okay? But no, apparently we have these well-paid people in high positions who seem to not know this. So anyway, then recently I got a letter from John Harry, the Chief Executive Officer, who again admonished me for telling everybody that piece of information. You guys are not allowed to know, okay? These people are all in on the World Economic Forum, United Nations, Great Reset. Make no mistake about it, and they're going to plead ignorant. They're going to play like they don't know. They know, okay? And nothing is by accident. Okay, next one. So, City of Salisbury adopts net zero. Now, lo and behold, he admonished me, Rudy Deco admonished me in November. I got that letter from John Harry just the other week, and lo and behold, we now have a draft sustainability strategy 2035 in the City of Salisbury, which has net zero peppered through almost every page. Okay? So yeah, I'm really the conspiracy theorist. I know, the ultimate, hey? So council meeting procedures are designed to exploit apathy and ignorance of councillors. Now I've watched, look, I've never been into council procedures and meetings and things. It never interested me. I was more interested in, US politics and maybe federal politics, state politics to some extent. Local government never interested me. But I started watching and I'm going, hang on a minute. If you and I were running our business like this, we'd either be broke, we'd probably be arguing to start with. But the councillors in the City of Salisbury, and I don't know what it's like in the others, they don't argue about anything. They don't challenge, they don't question. There's no dispute. Everybody, yes, 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 okay? We've got a whole, oh, that's right, I know. That was not the Nazi salute. For the record. But anyway, but literally, it is yes for everything, okay? Nobody questions. Nobody says, hang on a minute, stop. If we're going to limit how many petrol stations we've got in the district, why are we doing that? You don't get any of these questions. We're building a, where was it? It's a graphite manufacturing plant. Purified spherical graphite manufacturing plant in Salisbury, okay? Now, other than the mention of it, everything else will be under confidential business, okay? Now, if they make graphene dioxide or any other similar things, we won't know. Good luck to you. Yeah, maybe. So councillors are largely kept ignorant, unable to formulate intelligent questions or question council motions and decisions. The moment they are, they're mobbed. Agendas are often provided with less than 2 weeks' notice before a vote. Councillors must vote either yes or no, but cannot abstain due to insufficient information. So if you think you're not really sure about something and you vote no, you're not going to go down too well with the council. Agendas never give councillors weeks or months of advance notice to carry out adequate research before motions are put to a vote. So decisions are largely sloppy, ill-considered or tokenistic. Just rubber stamp, that's it. It is absolutely. And I think there needs to be a big spotlight thrown onto how council conducts its business. Is that it? Ah, there you go. I finished.